Hey everyone, it's great to be back at ETH Belgrade. I think this year it's actually even better than last year. You have a great location here. Maybe just one thing before I start, so I'm not going to be looking up. Is it possible to get the slides here on the screen as well? Just a quick sec, but while they're doing that, so I'm Matej, Head of Partnerships at Oasis. And yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about the AI without the black box and how the crypto ecosystem can actually bring some benefits, to all the AI that's out there right now. Just a few more seconds. Yeah, I complicated things for the guys. Sorry about that. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. So yeah, the title of the talk. Oh, we still need to have it up there. We just need to duplicate it. Perfect. Awesome. All right, so AI without the black box. We're going to go through, let's just see if the clicker works as well. Oh, now it works. Perfect. So yeah, we're going to go through the current AI landscape. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the differences between the centralized and decentralized AI approaches. I'm going to present our own Oasis ROFL framework and how it can help developers to develop in a more trustless, verifiable way. And then I'm also going to talk about WT3, but about that a bit later. So if we look at the current landscape, early AI, AI has existed from the 90s, but back then it was more called like machine learning, and machine learning now is more of a subset of what we call AI. And we're kind of reaching the tipping point, where everybody's using AI, predominantly LLMs, but obviously we do have some specific applications as well. And we had some sort of, AI in YouTube algorithms, in Spotify, algorithms, stuff like that. But we're kind of reaching the tipping point now. But we also see the power concentration that's happening, right? You have Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, Meta. These are all very big companies with a lot of resources that are kind of hogging the whole space, the whole mind share, right? And there are alternatives that are being built in the decentralized space, predominantly crypto. But there's still a little bit of a lack of understanding what's happening here. We're still a slightly smaller community, and there's still work to be done here. So if we look at centralized AI, what it means, right? It's obviously dominated by the large tech companies, as I mentioned, and they have, the data, compute power, development talent, and it's just in the hands of the few. Of course, there are advantages for this. You have economies of scale, you have access to data, you also have rapid development, but there are also the disadvantages that are mostly to the detriment of the user, right? So you have data privacy concerns, you have the monopoly over AI, and obviously risk of bias, because we know that there was a lot of bias installed, let's say, in ChatGPT and similar LLMs, right? And the problem is that tech companies and companies in general are more interested in the new shiny AI features than actual data privacy. And what's the alternative here? We can look at decentralized AI, right? It's the removal of the single point of failure, adding more transparency, more verifiability, and users all are in control of the data. Advantages are obviously, pretty obvious. Control of data, enhanced data privacy, less potential for bias. But obviously, the disadvantages are there as well, with lower performance, slower coordination, lack of standards. So everybody's kind of building in their sandbox, and we need to try to bring that together, right? The focus of the decentralized AI is on the user. So the data ownership, the transparency, and also the value recognition, right? So personal data, they call it, right, the new oil, the new gold. And for now, users are not really included in the data economy. And with AI, with decentralized AI, we can actually help that aspect develop a lot more as well, because smart contracts enable very easy payments, tokenization, everything. So if we look at the decentralized AI landscape, this has been done back in end of last year, I think. We need to update it a little bit, but we can see that it's quite big, and obviously it's growing by the day. agents, I think, were the biggest hype end of last year, but there are also different other sections that we're kind of looking at. You have dev platforms, you have confidential compute, you have decentralized compute providers, you have data collections, trading algorithms. So there are so many sectors that kind of put together, these are the Legos of the whole decentralized AI landscape. If I speak a little bit about Oasis, so we started back in 2018 as a layer 1 blockchain, and we had the unique architecture of having, multiple layers. Layer 1 was just consensus and native layer 2s. We went mainnet in 2020. Smart privacy was always at our core, so we developed private runtime, first in Rust, then we switched to EVM. So we also developed the first EVM-compatible confidential runtime. It's called Sapphire. It's been in production since 2023, and it's been running smoothly. And this provides, on-chain privacy, on-chain confidential compute to developers. So this is quite unique in the space. I think we're still the only one in production right now. But we're moving to the new framework that's very applicable in AI and other fields as well, but predominantly because the whole narrative right now is dominated by AI. We focus a lot on those use cases. It's called ROFL, pun intended, but yeah, it means runtime off-chain logic. It's basically a framework that leverages TEs, for security paired with Sapphire for on-chain verifiability. It allows us to have off-chain components that can do the more, let's say, difficult or more intensive computations, and then they can communicate through this framework with the on-chain rail and bring basically the full composability of it to the devs. Obviously, the flexibility in computation that brings is enormous, right? Because you're not limited by the VM capabilities. So how ROFL works? I intentionally put this on because it's like a terrible diagram, right? But this is all obfuscated away for the users, so for the devs. So how the ROFL works for devs is actually like this, right? So you have on-chain logic, you have off-chain components, everything else is taken care of by the ROFL framework. You can obviously go and check all the components and see how they work, right? But if you're a dev, this is the simplified kind of view. What it does does the TE provisioning, it does the on-chain registration, and it does the smart contract integrations, right? Next steps for ROFL, we're going to be developing a ROFL marketplace, or maybe a more closer naming would be an Oasis TE cloud, where we're going to have compute providers offering compute to developers that want to deploy those ROFL apps. So developers won't even have to take care of the infra themselves. We're going to develop ROFL app templates, so it's going to be easy to launch like MCP servers, agents, AI oracles, trustless bridges. This can all be done via TEs through remote attestations, right, without having like a big quorum come together on every decision. And we're also going to add GPU support to ROFL, so you're going to be able to do like very intensive computation in a trustless manner. I'm going to jump now to agents, since agents were quite the hype at the end of last year, and they're kind of coming back right now as well. We saw some projects really rise in the last few weeks. But yeah, they got industry momentum from basically the virtual ecosystem, which is booming with everybody launching their agents. But they were mostly, chatbots back then. And I think the second time around that we're going now, it's going to be a lot more complex, a lot more, let's say, they're going to have actual utility, right? Beyond just interacting on Twitter. We see with the DeFAI AI trend emerging that there's going to be real use cases that the agents can do for the users, and it's going to cross Web3 or crypto and Web2, right? Because Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, also predicted that 2025 will be the year of the agents, right? So if we're having more traditional space, focusing on the agents, and also crypto, focusing on the agents, that maybe is the solution how we can finally cross that onboarding difficulty that we constantly have in crypto, right? Because people don't like to interact with the wallets. They maybe don't understand it, but if they're used to a UI that's like agentic, right, or an LLM UI, and there's a Web2 agent that's communicating with a crypto agent, Web3 agent, you can maybe simplify those interactions for everybody so they don't actually need to know the whole background and maybe still utilize, some yield on some stable coins or something like that. So we see agents as one of the crucial or one of the key figures in this bridging of the gap. And this brings us to WT3, the agent you don't need to trust. We launched this in Dubai, a token, a month ago, and I'm happy to say that, today it's going to start trading live. You're going to be able to follow it on Twitter as well, all the trade that it does. And maybe I'll tell you a little bit more about why we went into this direction, right? If you look at the evolution of crypto, there were many different trends, right? So we had metaverse, we had NFTs, we had, what was there? DeFi obviously was one of the important ones back in 2020, and DeFi is the kind of the only constant that we're seeing now. A lot of those trends like came and went, right? But DeFi really stayed grounded, and AI as the emerging trend, the cross-section of both is actually in what we're mostly interested in. If you look at the market cap of DeFi, right, it peaked at 200 billion. We're back at 100 billion right now, but it's still rising, and this doesn't even count RWAs, right? So RWAs are coming on-chain as well, and that's going to be a big sector in the future, I believe, as well. So the RWAs for me are kind of a subsection of DeFi. It's more C DeFi, right? But still, there's going to be a lot more TVL coming on-chain. So this is the sector we're going to be focusing on with our agents as well, right? So why is DeFi or DeFAI the winning combination for crypto, right? The participation right now is relatively low, right? Because people still don't know where they can put their money. They're afraid of the smart contract risk. They're not knowledgeable about all the new opportunities that are popping up, right? So AI and AI agents can potentially solve this to enable crypto and non-crypto users to participate in DeFi a lot easier, right? The promise of DeFi, it's speed and efficiency, tireless operation, it works 24/7. It can, use AI for complex pattern recognition. It democratizes sophisticated strategies. But the crucial thing for us of DeFi is adding the transparency and verifiability, right? And we shouldn't forget about the decentralized in DeFi, right? Rapid market evolutions usually demand fast development. Projects usually take shortcuts to deliver, and the shortcuts that are usually taken, are right at the decentralization part, because that one's usually the most difficult, right? When you're doing things centrally, it's quite easy. When you try to do it decentrally, it gets harder. So users, in the end, still need to trust projects that they won't rug. And here we come to WT3's components. So what does it make it trustless? So we're using here Oasis ROFL for the integrity and verifiability. We're using the Imperial Agent SDK for the X engagement. We're using Ocean Predictor as part of the trading strategy for the trading signals, and we're using Hyperliquid for the trading venue. I think Hyperliquid here is pretty obvious. They have very deep liquidity. They have a lot of interest around it. So this is kind of the venue to be at right now if you're trading in DeFi. How it works? So everything gets deployed within the ROFL app. The ROFL app also generates the keys for the agent to hold the funds, right? So nobody else has access to those keys, right? Predictor signals are submitted on Sapphire on our layer 1 in confidence, privately. We have a paid subscription for the predictions. So these are input signals for the part of the strategy. We're using Imperial, as I said, for the tweeting of all the trades that are happening. And we're also going to be doing a little bit, contributing back to the ecosystem. So trading profits, a part of the trading profits will be used to buy back rows and burn it. So our community can benefit from our W3 as well. So I'll lightly touch on ROFL again here in the context of W3. So what it allows us to do is, the development of custom off-chain logic and easy verifiable on-chain through TEs. It has, verifiability, which is key for us. The ROFL framework basically abstracts away all the complexity of TEs for the devs. And yeah, as I mentioned before, the ROFL marketplace is coming to simplify the deployments even more. As I mentioned, the integrated key manager is powered by Sapphire. Because we have confidentiality on-chain, we can use that to generate the keys within ROFL so nobody has access, except, of course, if the admin would be malicious. Now here, W3 is not fully decentralized yet, as only the foundation funds will be at risk here. Outside participation will come later. And we will also then decentralize a bit more the kind of the management of the TE. Like final destination is for the agent to be truly trustless, truly autonomous. But when you're starting out things, there can be bugs, there can be problems. So it's still has, let's say, a little bit of training wheels when it comes to admin control. But at the same time, we still don't have access to the keys. But with malicious code, we could extract the money. But again, this is similar to how, smart contracts, if it has an exploit, nobody will use it, right? Because the exploit is seen. It's similar with ROFL Labs. You can imagine it in the same way. They need to be fully transparent and auditable in order to be able to trust that nobody can intervene with it. And of course, there's an on-chain log for all the enclave invocations. So that means all the changes within the ROFL app. The trading strategy, as I mentioned, it uses predictor trading signals to add confidence to the long and short-term trades. Predictor was built by the Ocean Foundation, and it's an AI-powered app that runs on Sapphire. So it basically, those are kind of like predictor agents. They are supplying predictions for the trading agents. The current accuracy is actually between 51 and 54% on the major pairs, so that's actually not bad. Fees are usually the problem with trading, so those usually kill the profitability. So there needs to be a little bit more, or if you're trading very big volume, that you can get like 0% fees. But yeah, the strategy needs some adjustment. You can't just rely on the accuracy here and say, I'm going to be profitable, right? But it can add confidence to your trades. As I mentioned, Imperial SDK, the SDK supports building autonomous agents with skill-based systems, right? It's integrated with Oasis Sapphire also for wall abstraction. It powers the platform like Simulacrum, which actually was quite popular at the end of last year, where you could add the Simulacrum agent Twitter profile, and it would deploy tokens for you via Twitter. So that was pretty cool. And yes, there are going to be some future Imperial ROFL integrations. So do follow us and Imperial to find out more about that. If we look at the W3 roadmap, so we launched W3 back in Dubai, and we funded it today, so it's going to start trading on Hyperliquid with initial capital of 100K from the Oasis Foundation. It's closed right now, so outside participation is not possible, but we'll introduce a staking contract where people will be able to add funds based on the history of the agent to see what's kind of the APR, APY, and if they want to participate in the strategy, they can just deposit the funds and get the yields from there. And the last step is actually launching, your own agents through what we're going to build is like a ROFL dashboard and launchpad, where it's going to be very easy for anybody to take a template of like an agent like WT3, deploy it yourself, so you don't even need to trust us I mean, here it's no trust, but because people don't go verifying usually the whole chain of things, right? To an extent, they usually trust the projects, right? But as I said, there's no trust here. It's all trustless. It's all verifiable. So future partners, right? The wolf is always hunting for alpha, so projects that offer market insights or new venues for trading, do reach out. We're happy to collaborate. We're happy to extend W3 to a different platform and seize the opportunities there. So yeah, we're at the booth here at ETH Belgrade, so you can find us there and chat. And I just want to have you go over with a few key takeaways today. For us, and I think for everybody, verifiability should be key to everything in crypto, right? The ethos of crypto was always don't trust, verify. And ROFL is the framework that enables combining the on-chain and off-chain compute in one verifiable stack. The future belongs to the agents that can think privately while proving integrity. So W3 is showing the way. And yeah, stay connected with us. You can follow W3 on X, agent_W3, or check the website, w3.ai. I think the QR code is for the W3 website. Our website is oasis.net. And here are my contacts as well if you want to reach out. Yeah, catch me here or DM me on Telegram or email. So I want to just one final meme to end it all, right? The Human Torch is all about, speed, so centralized is better. And then, we have Iron Man saying decentralized is better because of power to the people. Questions? And thank you very much.